Welcome to the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. I'm Chike Obogu. On the agenda today, in a bold move aimed at revitalizing Nigeria's democratic process, the House of Representatives has advanced a bill seeking to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make voting compulsory for all eligible citizens. The proposed legislation, co-sponsored by the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, and Representative Daniel Agor, successfully passed its second reading during Thursday's plenary session. Presenting the bill, Agor argued that mandatory voting would significantly boost civic participation and combat the persistent issue of voter apathy that has marred previous election cycles in Nigeria. According to Honorable Agor, many Nigerians eligible to vote opt out of the process, resulting in diminished public legitimacy of elected officials and weakened democratic outcomes. This bill seeks to instill a stronger sense of civic responsibility and ensure that every eligible Nigerian plays an active role in shaping the nation's leadership. Right, joining me this morning on the agenda is a special advisor to the Governor of Osun State on Media and Communications, Dr. Femi Adefila. Doctor, good morning. It's good to have you on the agenda.
Good morning, Chike. It's a pleasure to be with you on the agenda today.
Yeah, a quick one. This issue has been on the front burner for a while, the issue of voter apathy, civic responsibility. And now the House of Representatives is taking a bold step by saying, okay, if you don't vote, you either go to jail or you be charged 100,000 naira. Well, should that be made mandatory? I believe there are rights to every individual in Nigeria.
I will say no. I don't think I share the sentiment of the propagators of that concept or the sponsors of the bill. Yes, it is within the fundamental human right of every Nigerian who is eligible to vote and to exercise the franchise as a Nigerian, as a freeborn, to choose your leader, but to upscale it to the level of compulsory, of making it compulsory, I think is another thing entirely. The United States, that is the bastion of democracy across the world, is not even compulsory for you to vote. Yes, it's a fundamental human right. You may choose or not choose, or you may elect or not elect to exercise that franchise. And when you take into cognizance the peculiarity of our nation, Nigeria, the level of illiteracy and the logistic problem that we have to exercise our franchise, making it compulsory and making it a matter of law will be far-fetched. That's what I think. But I must share the sentiment of the sponsors of the bill in the area of addressing voter apathy. It's becoming abysmal. It's becoming very abysmal. You in the last presidential election, how many Nigerians voted in that election that produced Ahmed Bola Tinubu as the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? But despite recognizing the fact that we need to address that, I will rather go the route of civic education. That it is your right as a citizen to exercise your civic duty, rather than making it compulsory and now prescribing jail term 100,000 naira. It's going to be very funny and chaotic. If, for instance, where I come from a village called Oraibumino, and you have to arrest the elderly who are eligible to vote ordinarily, or the young ones on the farm, and you have to crowd the court. How many people will you prosecute? Already our courts are, there's a crisis in our judicial process. Our courts are crowded. So many cases are not attended to. So to now add that is like adding insult to an injury, as it were. So I want to believe that we don't have to make it compulsory and to legislate it. We should up the scale of our civic education, civic mobilization. Let's galvanize the people And another thing is this: those who are privileged to hold political power today should exercise their responsibilities with a sense of duty to encourage other people. People are disillusioned. If previous vote that they participated in did not count, or they believe that it did not count, it can discourage people. Now, why am I going out to kill if at the end of the day my vote will not count? Let us make sure our vote count, and of course let those who have the power today exercise it with a sense of responsibility to galvanize people's interests.
All right, Doctor, quick one. You just mentioned about civic education.
That's
and voter responsibility. Yeah. However, if you look at, if you go down memory lane, from 1979 elections, 1993 elections, even the 1999 elections, there was a high turnout until there became a decline, and some will attribute that decline to the integrity of our voter or voting system or electoral system. There's this issue of trust when it comes from the people to the electoral umpires. Now, do you think it's about civic education, or you think there should just be a revamp of the electoral process in Nigeria that could give credibility to the electorate?
Yes, I'm one of those people who believe that our electoral system, electoral process, has come of age. As a young journalist, I participated in 1993 election. I covered as a journalist, so I observed the behavioral pattern of Nigerians. I saw the electoral process, and I think I watched closely the 1999 own, and I've covered subsequent election as a journalist, and I could observe. I think we have improved considerably, though Nigerians will not appreciate that. The fact that we have introduced technology
is an improvement.
Is an improvement. Okay. We just continue. We should just continue to improve. We should not drop the ball, take our eyes off the ball, or rest on oars. We should continue to improve every day on our electoral process, that we engineer trust in the system, and people will believe that I just have to do this. Making it compulsory is not the way. Voter education is key, and you know what? The responsibility to go on voter education is that of political parties, politicians. They are the one canvassing for vote in your communities, in your neighborhood, in your towns and villages. Tell people the need for them to vote, the need for them to participate. But let me shock you, most often politicians will not go that route, because the more people don't participate, the more loophole that you give them to manipulate the system
and winning the election.
That's right. So it is the duty of you and I as Nigerians, it is the duty of those civil societies, the duty of associations, those who believe in democracy. We should have democracy champions, those who believe that there's no alternative to this conversation. Democracy is the best form of government. There's no alternative to it.
I believe the National Orientation Agency should be part of it.
They should just up their game. Yeah. They should up their ante as far as mobilization is concerned, so that we have more Nigerians, and we should make it less cumbersome. Once people don't see violence during election and their vote can't, it will reduce voter apathy that we have seen. It's because people are becoming disillusioned. They believe that regardless of what I do, this election result has been predetermined, and we are just working to an answer. And regardless of what I do, it doesn't worth my effort. I'm against that. I think there's a part to play by Nigerians. It's not just enough for us to take joy in complaining, condemning the system, without trying to do something to change the system. Within your space, be part of the change. Join the train to change what you don't like. If you don't join the train, you are just brooding, you are complaining, you join the naysayers. It's not the best way to build a nation. If you know that democracy is the best form of government, what is even wrong in Nigerians participating in party politics? I tell Nigerians, don't believe that party politics is dirty. That politics is dirty. That is the narrative being pushed by politicians to dissuade you and I from joining the fray. So that they are going to limit it to them, and they have a monopoly of the space. When good people turn their back on the system, the space will be populated by bad people, because nature abhors vacuum. The game must go on. So the more good people jump into the fray, into the space of politics, the more we sanitize that space and we have good governance. But when you believe that politics is dirty, you abstain for it, and you take joy, you take solace in complaining, in brooding, in going on television, casting aspersion on the system, and when the process comes, you abstain.
All right, do not open the book of lamentations alone. Take part in the electoral process in Nigeria. Right. We'll go on this break, and when we come back, the major talking points of today will be the regional development commissions that have been approved by the federal government. We'll be talking about that in a bit. Stick around, don't go away. Welcome back from that break. It's still the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. The Ministry of Regional Development was created on the 23rd October 2024 by the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, following the change of its name from the Ministry of Niger Delta Development, with a mandate to formulate and execute plans, programs, and other initiatives, as well as coordinate the intervention activities of agencies, communities, and donors, and even other relevant stakeholders aimed at fast-tracking regional development in the country. Our focus on the agenda today will be the Southwest Development Commission, SWDC, the Bill 2024 passed by the Nigerian Senate, which seeks to cater for the 6 states in the Southwest geopolitical zone, including Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti states. The commission is part of a broader strategy to accelerate development across Nigeria's geopolitical zones. Right, Dr. Femi Adefila is still here in the studio, and we'll be looking solely at the Southwest Development Commission. What does it stand for? What does it aim to achieve in the polity of the Nigerian state? Is it a form of restructuring the country by creating these regional development commissions? Dr. Femi Adefila, the Southwest Development Commission. Yes, some will say that since state governors have refused to allow local governments grow, as they've refused to allow local government autonomy, the federal government has created this to checkmate the state governors. Okay, so what does this aim to achieve?
Okay, let's go on memory lane. If you remember, the creation of the Ministry of Niger Delta Development was a child of necessity. The outcry about the underdevelopment of the cash cow called Niger Delta. Niger Delta is very strategic to Nigeria, was what led to the birth of the Ministry of Niger Delta Development. And having seen the achievement of that, I think other regions became jealous. And the need to have an holistic approach to regional development in Nigeria. You know, Nigerians have been clamoring for restructuring. Some Nigerians believe that we fared better under regional structure they are now under a central federal system. Remember, in 1946, Richard Constitution introduced regionalism into Nigeria, and it came to an end in 1967 after the Civil War, when 12 states were created by General Gowon's led military administration. Some Nigerians are of the opinion that we should revert to regionalism because they believe that the best way to solve the problem of a multi-ethnic, multicultural, multiracial nation like Nigeria is regionalism. And Yorubas will say something that that means when you keep singing the praises of the dead, that means the present people are failed in their duties. The federal system as we practice today is not working for Nigerians. Nigerians believe it's not working, that we should make a recourse to what we had before. Now we are in the city of Ibadan. This was where the late legend Obafemi Awolowo presided over the affairs of Western region. This was where in 1955 he introduced free and compulsory education. It was compulsory and it was free for every child to be educated. It was here in the city of Ibadan in 1959 that the first television station on the continent of Africa was launched. It was here in the city of Ibadan in 1965 that Cocoa House, the first high-riser skyscraper in the West African sub-region, was launched. People believe that those were products of effective regionalism, that perhaps the nation Nigeria, the geographical entity referred to as Nigeria, is rather too big for effective administration. I will subscribe to an extent, because it is not a system that is absolutely faulty, it is the people that manages the system and our orientation. Yes, now that we have Southwest Development Commission, what do we make of it? Because Nigerians love to talk, and we love to create structures, we love to create commissions, we love to create agencies. What do we do with those structures? An agency is an instrument for governance. It's the essence of having Southwest Development Commission is for development to percolate, to cascade down to the grassroots, so that we can come together as a people that speak one language. We are monolithic as Yoruba people. We have Northwest Development Commission, we have Southwest Development Commission, we have Southeast Development Commission, we have North Central. We now have 6 development commissions designed along the 6 geopolitical zones. At least you must coalesce and come together and come up with development agenda. And I think the best thing, I know Egmont Charles Akinola quite well. He's an eged, an intellectual who I believe can deliver. And don't forget, hitherto, there was an agency called DAWN Commission.
So that's where I'm headed to.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
The issue of the Southwest Development Commission, some will say or posit that it's a duplication of the development agenda for Western Nigeria, which is the DAWN Commission. The DAWN Commission set an agenda for the Southwest Development Commission.
I think the DAWN Commission should dovetail into Southwest Development Commission.
Okay.
I think DAWN Commission should wind up, with due respect. The DAWN Commission was an initiative of Southwest governors. They saw the need to come together and have a central agency that cater for developmental agenda of the Southwest. Now that the federal government has gifted them a commission that will draw allocation from the federal purse, that can get grant, donations all across the globe, I think the reasonable thing to do
is just to metamorphose.
Is for DAWN Commission to collapse itself and its structure into Southwest Development Commission, because the agendas are the same. The agenda is to develop the Southwest, to come up with a development agenda that will cater for the educational needs of the people of the Southwest. There are 6 states in the Southwest, from Lagos to Ekiti, to Ondo, to Osun, to Oyo. cater for infrastructural decay in the Southwest, catered for the security needs of the people of the Southwest and the protection of the people of the Southwest, and look for how to develop the manpower of the people of the Southwest. I went, one day somebody sent me something, and it's such a sad development. When I saw the budget of the Western region in 1956, a very detailed budget that outlined in graphic details how the Awolowo-led government wanted to develop the Southwest. What I want to advise Egbencha Asakiola, who is the managing director and the chief executive officer, to do is to focus on three main things. To have a thematic focus that take all these things seriously. Education, number one. You must develop the minds of our youth. The fact that in Ibadan we now have out of school children is a disgrace. This is the heart of Yoruba land, the heart of the Southwest, where Obafemi Awolowo launched free education in 1955. If you now have after school children rising in number, I think it's a shame. That should be tackled. We should have an agenda that is holistic and acceptable to every political office holder in the Southwest. And we should all coalesce into that. Agricultural development. What happened to cocoa? Cocoa was a major instrument of development for the Southwest. What happened to that? Nigeria was once the #1 cocoa producing nation in Africa. Now I think we are number 4 or 5. Ivory Coast is doing so well. Ghana is doing very well. And other nations of the world who have taken it very seriously. Why are we not attending to that? Then again, I want to say that we should look at, we are in the era of what I call artificial economy. The world has moved beyond resource-based economy. Our oil is becoming irrelevant. It's becoming relevant in years to come. All over the world now, cars are powered by the electric, by electric. No more need your fossil fuel. So in the next 20 years, there are nations across Europe that have given specific dates that they will render fossil fuel powered cars outdated in their nations.
And so maybe dump them to Africa.
Dump them to Africa. Then there won't be market for your fossil fuel anymore. There won't be market for our crude oil. We all go to Abuja every month, capping and begging for allocation. If there's no allocation per month, most nations cannot survive, except Lagos and Port Harcourt, who are looking inward to create mechanism for revenue generation. We should start to think and be focused. You see, the problem I have with Africa is that we are not very futuristic. And as a people, we should start to be very futuristic.
Or maybe African leaders are intellectually lazy.
But the question is, I asked you, see, it's very cheap for some of us to say African leaders. Are they not your cousins and your uncles? The leaders are reflecting who we are as a people.
But absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I understand. There's no doubt about that. I don't believe in escapism.
Okay.
That when you just apportion blame. Because they are the whipping boys. Yes, I know they have failed, but they reflect who we are. Have you wondered where we have had consistent failure within the corridor of power? Buhari has left. Buhari bequeathed on us the worst economy in the history of this nation. Now Tinubu is in the saddle. Are we faring better? Why must that be our lot, year in, year out? Then let's retrospect. Is that not who we are? Don't you think we need to think as a people that we have a basic problem? It's in our DNA. I read a book, What is Wrong with Being Black? And I wonder what is wrong with being black. Why must failure be a recurring decimal in our own dictionary? It boggles the mind. So back to your question, what we need to do is that we should take advantage of what we have presently. It's an instrument, it's a structure. We are all clamoring for restructuring. This is subtle restructuring, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Tinubu is trying to give us that's right, a quasi restructuring agenda.
Yeah.
And I want to commend some governors in the Southwest. I want to commend Makinde for doing a very good job. I come here often. I was born in the city of Ibadan. I went to University of Ibadan several times. I went to Polytechnic Ibadan. And the man is giving the city of Ibadan a facelift. Road infrastructure. And I want to commend him for that. And I think I also want to commend the governor of Osun State. You know, when he came on board, Governor Ademola Adeleke, because he's light-headed, he loved to dance.
He seemed light-headed.
That's
from
right.
afar.
From afar.
Yeah.
But when you are close to him, no, he's a jolly good fellow.
Yeah.
A man with a very open mind. He has turned Osun State into a huge construction site. Road infrastructure in the city of Osogbo, in Ede, in Ilesha, in Ilefe. Osun is looking good. Osun is looking new. And you know, road infrastructure is catalyst for industrial development.
Yeah.
It attracts investors. It provides logistic support for industrial development. Governor Ademola Adeleke is doing that in Osun State. In the area of earth, he just won an award as the best state in the Southwest. And UNICEF or WHO gifted Osun State about $500,000 as a reward for its focus on healthcare, both tertiary, secondary, and primary healthcare system. Adeleke is doing that. In the area of manpower development, the civil servants are happy. They can't be happier. It's not only meeting their needs every month, paying salary, it's also paying salaries they were owed
arrears
by previous government, arrears of salaries that were owed by the opposition party. But it doesn't matter. Government is a continuum. He has taken it upon himself to meet the needs of Osun State civil servants. That's why the pensioners are happy, the workers are happy, and everybody is happy with him. And beyond earth, you go into agriculture. I think some tractors were procured recently to attend to the needs of farmers and to encourage young ones to go back to farm. So Governor Adeleke is doing well in Osun State, and there's no doubt about that. When we go to Lagos, we have good news. Recently I was in Lagos, and I rode on the Blue Line. I thought I was in England. That's what you see in England. Very lovely, air-conditioned, neat and clean. Transported me from one point to the other, and was good. So why can't you now coalesce this effort? Governors of the Southwest, under the umbrella of Southwest Development Commission, sit together and pick 3 core areas. And that education, agriculture, security, and most importantly, software engineering should be taken very seriously. IT is the way to go. That is the today and that is the tomorrow. And we should pay attention to it. When we have preponderance of our youth going to Yahoo and internet scams, let's bring them and let them channel their energy into positive areas of development. And if they are rewarded, you know, there are positive hackers. Serious IT companies, they hire people who are hackers and turned their negative energy into positive energy for development. Let's bring these people together. Let's have what I will call like a summit and bring all these people together. People who have the power, the intellect, the intelligence. You don't need to go to school to work with Google anymore if you live abroad. They even prefer those who are home trained. You don't have to go to university to be an IT success, to be an IT consultant. All you need to do is the powers, is the intellect, is the interest, is the passion. And you understand how it works. I think we should just annex these huge resources that we have and bring it together so that we can galvanize socio, political, and economic development of the Southwest, so that the founding fathers will be happy with us.
You talked about having the governors come together and chart a development agenda for the Southwest, especially working in synergy with the Commission. However, Are you not scared that these governors might one day hijack the plans and the purpose of this commission, as it has been with the Nigerian factor?
Yeah, the Southwest Development Commission is a creation of the law. It cannot be hijacked. And it's in their interest that they allow it to thrive. And it's in their interest that they allow it to work and work effectively. Because we've always had Udua company.
Yeah.
They all go there. They are beneficiaries to the largesse, to dividends from the shares of Udua. They've not hijacked it. They've allowed it to thrive.
Maybe because they're getting something from it.
They will get something from this too.
Maybe a medium-term plan.
Yeah. As the
one wants something instant.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. I think it's going to be stupid. I don't think they are stupid for them to expect something in the immediate. They should be futuristic, that this is like a gift, a treasure, that a legacy that we should allow, because that must be peer review. Now we have South-South Development Commission. We have Southeast. We have North Central. We have Northeast. We have Northwest. And we have Southwest. In a couple of years, we are going to be comparing which one is failing, which one is succeeding. But
why the comparison when all of them have their different comparative advantages?
The comparison is necessary. I'm not against competition when it is healthy. There must be a peer review mechanism to gauge and to assess how far we have gone.
And to put them in
For instance, if we are friends, we went to school together.
Yes.
Each time I see you, I want to check how you are doing. That will serve as impetus, as encouragement. Femi, you need to buckle up. Chike is doing better. What do you do differently? It's necessary in life that you use other people to benchmark what you are doing, where you are, and that we ginger you to do more. We instigate you to do more. To do a retrospect, and do I change strategy? What do I do differently so that I can do as good as Chike is doing? There's nothing wrong in that.
Right. Let's come back to you mentioned the executive governor of Osun State, and let's talk about Osun State now, which happened to be your primary constituency.
That's right.
Now, there is a commission, Southwest Development Commission.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Osun has been known for not generating enough IGR amongst the 6 Southwest states. They've been known for generating the least IGR back in the day during the administration of the likes of Aregbesola and the likes. However, now, what will Osun State be bringing to the table of the Southwest Development Commission?
Yeah, well, as a matter of right, Osun State is at the table. Because when it was called Southwest Development Commission, in the geographical entity known and referred to as Southwest, Osun State is there. It occupies a portion of the map.
But what is it bringing?
At the table.
What does it bring?
Yes, they are bringing history, bringing legacy, bringing the fact that Osun State actually, it prides itself, we pride ourselves as the home of every Yoruba person because of the relevance of Ile-Ife. We are bringing tourism to the table. Tourism has huge potential in Osun. The palace of the Oni of Ife, which is the cradle of Yoruba race, is enough tourism potential and tourism site that if the Southwest Development Commission pay attention to it, the Oromiyan staff is huge and is big, that can attract Osogbo
Festival
Grove.
Yeah.
That is a World Heritage Site. Then you go to Olubere Waterfall in Ijesha land. It's there. Then you go to Ayikima Waterfall in Okela, Ayikima Waterfall in Okela. Those are sites. Then beyond that, don't forget that one of the best universities in the Southwest, Obafemi Awolowo University, is in Ile-Ife. Then Osun is an agrarian state.
Yeah.
And we have huge agrarian potential. We have huge agricultural potential that we can tap into. Don't forget, Iteto, Osun had what we call steel rolling mills, machine tools, And that's something you don't know about Osun. Osun is strategic to industrial development of the Southwest. You know why? Fantastic. Generating electricity in this nation, Nigeria, the national center is in Osogbo.
Okay.
Every power generated anywhere in Nigeria must first come to Osogbo. But that is the national distribution center for power. You know, we have the power sector is in 3 phases.
Yes.
The distribution, the generation, the transmission, and the distribution. Once the transmission line coalesce in Osogbo. That is why Osogbo has better energy supply, power supply than any state in Nigeria.
You say so?
No, that's the truth.
Okay.
Where I live within the GRA in Osogbo, I have minimum of 18 hours a day.
Okay.
Non-negotiable.
Because I know the last time I went to the Niger State, I was at New Busa. And I had electricity for about 23 hours.
23 hours.
50 minutes.
And let me shock you, the National Distribution Center for where you went in New Busa, in Niger State, is Osogbo.
Wow.
Anything generated anywhere comes to Osogbo.
So there's a comparative advantage.
That's right, that we have. We need to leverage on that. And that was why machine tools came to Osogbo. Steel rolling mills came to Osogbo. Those were national industrial institutions that are now in rack and ruin, sold. So why can't we bring that? Steel rolling is sold to Dangote. He hasn't done anything about that. Machine tools is working, but it's epileptic. It's been sold. You know, don't forget that IBPLC is headquarters in Osogbo, in Osun State, in Ilesha, International Breweries Limited. So there's a huge potential because we have power. Because power is central to industrial development. And Osogbo, Osun State, houses that. So
are you now rooting for Osun State to be the headquarters of this Southwest Development?
No, I think it should be Ibadan, naturally, because Ibadan is I don't know, Ibadan is the natural political capital of the Southwest. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I think
among the Southwest.
That's the natural political headquarters.
From the federal, what will the federal government be? Where will the
I think they should leave it. They should leave it to us. They should leave it to the vagaries of the Southwest to determine where to locate the center. The DAWN Commission is housed there at Cocoa House. That's very historic.
Maybe there's a change of nomenclature, and then
that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. I think Ibadan is central.
No, what I mean is, since you suggested that the DAWN Commission should be collapsed and be part of the Southwest Development Commission, so maybe there should just be a change of nomenclature. I think
the Southwest Development Commission should be an offshoot of the DAWN Commission.
Okay.
And from the relics of DAWN Commission should come. I mean, the old should feed the new. And there must be an handshake between the old and the new. And it's about continuity. It's a continuum. I don't think they should discard everything that DAWN Commission has done.
Okay.
And don't forget, Southwest was the first region in Nigeria to come up with that initiative. And it's very commendable. And it's now the model for every region in Nigeria. And I think we shouldn't discard everything the DAWN Commission has done. We just improve on them. Now we're going to have improved funding and financing, because it's a creation of the law. So it is compulsory for the federal government to fund the Development Commission every month.
So I was going to the funding part, just to wrap it up. Then the funding part, the moment the federal government fails in remitting funds from the federation account to the commission, the Southwest Development Commission, will the state governors rally around together to bring in funds to fund the commission, as they've been doing with the Odua Group?
Yeah, I think that's what you should do. And I'm not privy to the master plan and the strategy of Dr. Charles Akinola, whom I have great respect for as a strategist and as a man who is deep in development strategy. I give it to him. He's ex-Harvard, Cambridge, and he's done so well for himself. So he's prepared intellectually and educationally to steer the ship. of the Southwest Development Commission. What I believe they should do is this. You see, most initiatives of this nature across the world don't rely solely on finance from government. If you have bankable project, there are institutions across the world, foundations, that will latch on it and will support you. But what you need to put forward is credibility. Once they know development is what you want to achieve, there are development-oriented institutions across the world, donor agencies across the world. If you want to do something on education, there are foundations that will put good money down once you have integrity and you are accountable and you are there's transparency. You must just speak the language of those foundations. And I think Dr. Charles Akinola is the right peg in the right hole. He speaks that language. So they should look at donations, contributions, and I think Odua should fund it substantially.
Okay.
Odua is our common patrimony, is our common heritage.
A conglomerate of
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Odua, instead of giving money to individual states, Odua should fund this commission.
All right, Mr. President has done well with this.
It's a commendable effort.
Well, we just hope the Southwest, as we have used this as a case study, will lash on this and make sure that the commission develops through its name, the Southwest Development Commission. I've been discussing with the Special Advisor to the Governor of Osun State on Media and Communications, Dr. Femi Adefila. Thank you for joining me on the agenda, Doctor.
No, I'm a Special Advisor to the Governor on OSBC.
Okay, on OSBC.
But most often than not, I prefer to be referred to as the CEO of Raven 1.7 FM. But I work with the Governor as Special Advisor on OSBC.
Okay,
That's right,
the Special Advisor to the Governor on OSBC, and also the Chief Executive Officer of Rave 97.1 FM in Oshogbo there. He's also a broadcast guru, a media owner. Let's keep this conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's at Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X, formerly known as Twitter, it is Dominion Cast. My name is Chike Ubogu. Do have a great day. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Bye for now.